Hello and good
Hey,
evening, and welcome to The
the
Truth
truth
Behind
behind
the
the
Truth.
truth.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good evening, everyone. Want to say hello
Yes,
to all of our social media base
yes,
guys. Put your hats on tonight. It's going to be a good one. The
yes.
show is kind of dedicated to men, but ladies, we want you to chime in. So therefore, you can actually pass it on to your old enough sons. Okay, yeah.
Are your
Oh,
husbands?
your husbands or your brothers or whoever else you're connected to. But it's all about men and their sexuality tonight. So it's going to be a wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful show. We did put an advisory up there because we're going to get a little deep in conversation.
All
We're going to have
right.
some words that you're not used to hearing on our show. All right. But get ready because you might hear the word. No, I ain't going to say it. I'll leave it save it for later.
It's a gift. It's a gift to the women.
It's a gift. Okay, exactly.
Yeah. Mother's Day gift on
All
our
right.
behalf.
I like that. Yes. We're going to make some happy mothers out there, okay? And some of y'all probably going to be making more Mother's Days.
All right.
Yep, Lord.
But it's all good, but wonderful. Again, we thank you guys for taking the time out to being with us. We have Freddie. I like to call him Doctor, because he's the Doctor Love. He's the Doctor Love. I'm telling you, for what he's going to be able to share with us tonight. So it's going to be wonderful. Want to remind you, this is I won't say our conclusion, but we have another part of this Loveology series, which will be Freddie's wife coming on for the women in a couple of weeks. So guys, you ladies, you'll be able to experience the same thing we're experiencing tonight, but we'll keep you posted as the point when she's coming on as well. Want to remind you also, actor Diana West will be coming on with us at the end of the month. She's coming back. My affectionate Mama D.
Yeah.
She'll be back with us at the end of the month, as well, spending some time with the fellas as well. So we got a lot of great things coming up for you. All right, fellas, how you doing? Good to see you. Parnell, I know you were under the weather a little bit, but how you feeling, brother?
I'm doing good. Almost back at 100%. Thank you.
Good.
You
got that glow going on, so yeah.
The glow has returned.
Yes.
Indeed. Harold, how you doing?
I am doing great. I'm doing good.
Good. You look like you're excited for this conversation tonight.
I am. Look, I got my pen and my paper. I'm taking notes.
Oh, okay. Well, it'll be recorded, so you can always go back and review it. So
Right.
At your leisure. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I am awesome. How about yourself?
I am well. I'm excited. I've been excited about this show all week. I mean, I text people. I said, y'all, this is gonna be the best show, the greatest show y'all ever seen from Truth Behind the Truth. I'm telling you. So I put it out there. So I hope they all listen, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. I hope y'all listening because y'all. And if y'all ain't, it's gonna be on y'all. Because y'all gonna have some bad sex after this. But anyway, because you didn't watch, okay? At the end of the day. But anyway, let's take in some hot topics. What's going on in the world? I know Dave Chappelle. Y'all go ahead and chime. I'll say mine at the end.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm like, I'll start. See,
okay.
It's really crazy because folks have lost their damn mind, and I understand that the young man was a homeless person, and some of his motivation was to try and bring attention to himself because there's something like with his mother or grandmother, something he was trying to get some funding or whatever to make that happen. But it's like, listen, people, y'all gonna have to learn to sit your asses down when you go see a show. And unless the performer asks you to come up on stage, then sit your behind down there and watch the show. It's gonna end up, this man's arm got broken. Somebody's gonna end up getting killed. If they think it's, I can go up and charge the stage because blah 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 blah, and it's just ridiculous. I'm glad nobody was killed. It could have been a lot worse than just a broken arm.
Absolutely, Harold.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I heard about it. But my thought was, how are these situations set up? I mean, I know security came after the fact, but how was that person able to get to him?
I think that's still the mystery.
That is definitely still the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, that is good. But I know one thing: he learned how to do a Bob Fosse when he left.
Okay.
Because that arm was like he was doing Bob Fosse when he left. But it's absolutely ridiculous how society has now become a little bit more ratchet these days, especially now that we. People are blaming, so many factors into this, poverty and all this stuff. But this man was 23 years old. I mean, he has so much life, but he chose that night to do something that was just so random and so stupid.
Right.
And I don't know, help a homeless guy. How did he get to?
That's what
That's what everybody was like.
a ticket
Yeah.
to get
And
that
then on
clothes.
top of that, I want to say this to our Attorney General out here in California, Mr. Gascon. Listen, do you want a job? Because I see that you do not want to do your job.
Okay.
I want to say you are on recall, sir, and that somebody is on the bottom line to get you out of a job. I mean, Californians, I'm just saying, you know, this type of behavior is reckless.
Right.
In our state. We have
Right.
so much going on right now that people are not being held accountable to their actions. And I'm sorry to say, but this is getting out of hand. And for this guy, I don't feel bad for him. Actually, I feel like at the end of the day, you got what you deserve, because normally when you go to places like that, you stay in your place.
Right.
Hopefully for comedians, hey, do what you have to do, but y'all know what, right now, y'all are not the only ones being assaulted out here in these streets.
Yeah.
So I hate to say it, but for comedians, y'all are not the only one. There are many people out here in this world, airplane, flight attendants, you got teachers, you got fast food workers, you got retail. Don't sit up here. I wish we could cry over the fact that Dave Chappelle got attacked, but honey, everybody's getting attacked. I think it's time, one way or the other, we just need to be safe out here in these streets.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Streets. Well, you know, my take on it, we'll go ahead and move on. You know, there's two factors. I mean, now that comedians know what the potential of what's going to happen, I think that they have to be a little bit more cautious going into what their preparation or how they approach the audience. And it may be a good thing, because, you know, there's always a two-edged side to situations, you know, at the end of the day. Yes, we've rehashed the Chris Rock and Will Smith situation or whatever, but even the truth behind that, you know, is always, it's illuminating something else to be more precaution. Now, the one thing I did not like, okay, this is me, I did not like the fact that Chris Rock got on the mic and said, was that Will Smith doing this at that particular point? I know he was thinking it was a funny moment, but in my opinion, I think that was a little inappropriate given the situation of how that, you know, how it was. I know I'm looking at her like, yeah, okay. That's just me. I mean, that's just me, okay? But
nothing is inappropriate when it comes to comedy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get that. And I understand it, but then again, you just kind of put yourself in just in another position. But anyway, we're gonna move on. Go ahead. What's your next topic?
I mean, let's just talk about this issue with Roe v. Wade. Y'all know what I just want to say. I'm not surprised by the leak. I'm not surprised about MAGA people are now wanting to overturn this thing, because they've been wanting to overturn this along with some other things called the Voting Rights of 1965. Right. And I mean, they would rather overturn Brown versus the Board of Education too. But the fact that they're starting with women is surprising. And I think the next option is gay marriage. But I'm just saying, this is just it's not a surprise to me, but what it does entail is the fact that us as Americans need to wake up to what is going on in our country. We got to wake up and we got to get out there and vote and make our voices count. I keep saying this each and every show from the very beginning. Right. I say, as Americans, we cannot sit on our laurels and just say that everything is foundational and it's, you know, it's dry and stone. We got to keep things going by voting and voting people who are working for us.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think that the scenario has to be keep being pushed. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because we really realize that, you know, where Congress stands, you know, and I'm not changing the subject, but I did bring this up, I think, last show when it says something to me that it took you almost 65 years, was it, to get an anti-lynching bill passed through Congress. I mean, come on. Really? I mean, 65 years. This boy got killed, you know, and slaughtered, you know, by some white brothers. Okay, I'll just put it that way, you know, for the sake of the conversation, you know. And then it took you 65 years, and all of the strange fruit that happened. You know, somebody saying about strange fruit, you know, throughout Alabama and all of the South, you know, all these years, 65 years or more, you know, to get a bill passed. I mean, really. So this, like you saying, you know, this opportunity to reframe a woman having a right to, you know, make the decision what she wants to do with her body. I mean, hey, you know, y'all got to start some pushing. Y'all putting these people in office. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead.
All right,
no, I mean, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, if you are against abortion, that's fine, that's wonderful, that's your right. Don't have one, but you don't have the right to tell other women what to do with their body. That is their decision, and it's not for you to. I'm worried about their soul. That's not your business.
Right. Absolutely.
You got nothing to do with somebody else's soul or their spiritual life or whatever.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with all you guys said. I said, but it just feels like we're going back so far that this is even an issue. It's just like, what's going on?
I mean, it shouldn't be an issue at this particular point in time. But again, now I don't know if you guys, and I'm not necessarily plugging a preacher, per se, because we're a very open spiritual platform, on our show. But I will encourage you, and I'm going to plug him for today, to go back and listen to Carlton Pearson. Okay. I mean, really, at the end of the day, this brother is just so on point with the spiritual happenings and making everyone aware of what the state of America is in the state of religion, the state of typically Christianity is, and the make of things. So I encourage you, if you listen, go and he's on Facebook. Just type his name in the search and listen to his messages or his weekly broadcast about this, because he speaks about the abortion situation and what's going on with Mega and Donald Trump and this whole mess that we got going on.
He's not Kevin Samuels. God, rest in peace. But
right, I know we don't even have time to get in here.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. No.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. It's all I've heard a long time ago, and I'm going to wrap this up. Whatever dash you leave between here and eternity is the dash that you'll be remembered by. Yeah. So whatever dash that was, he's going to be remembered by.
So make your purpose count in
exactly.
positivity and love before you leave this earth.
Absolutely.
Like that.
Absolutely. All right. Before we're about to get ready to go. I know.
That's so interesting because there has not been a lot of sad faces, and this is so interesting. The reaction.
I mean, they have that kind of mark. You know what I mean? We got to get ready. Go ahead.
But somebody was loving him because he had a whole bunch of followers. So that's
interesting. And he fell on one of them before he died.
Oh, well, anyway. Okay. All right. We got to get ready to go for a break. But when we come back, my gosh, it is going to be so exciting. We're going to kick it off with advisory. So hey, look, if you can't handle this, you know what? Tape it and come back and listen to it later. All right. But Dr. Freddie Weaver will be back with us right after this break. All right. Welcome back, guys. Thank you once again for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight, the powerful night, night for the men. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Dr. Freddie. Go ahead, sir.
All right. To our audience, we're going to make this short and sweet because we're going to be like Gladys Knight. We're going to get down to the right down to the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Yeah, so our guest tonight is Dr. Freddie Zinto Weaver. He is the director and founder of Tantra Nova Institute in Chicago, where he resides. As well, he is, along with his partner in crime, Dr. Esbeth Moot. They are the founder and director of Tantra Nova Institute of Chicago. He has been featured in many shows, docuseries from Sexual Healing from Showtime, Emmy Award-winning NBC show, Starting Over, and plus he is a best-selling author of Sexual Enlightenment and of many other talents, yoga, singer, actor. Oh my goodness. So I just want to welcome our guest, Dr. Freddie Zinto Weaver. Yes. Welcome back.
Hey, Dylan. Good to see you guys, all of you. Thank you for having me back.
Yes.
I love your conversation earlier. That was great. All of the things that are happening in the world. I love your commentary.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, if you got a point, go ahead and share.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say one thing about the thing that happened with in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Where the attack, not Will, but the other one, the recent
Dave
one.
Chappelle.
But yeah, Dave Chappelle, thank you. In the background, after they caught the guy, they beat him up like he was trying to beat Chappelle up. So like, where does it stop?
Yeah,
where does the
exactly.
beating
Good
stop?
point.
That's all I was going to say.
All right, good point. Excellent, excellent. So let's go ahead and dig in. Oh my gosh, we've been so excited. I mean, you got some excited men on this show, and hopefully a whole bunch, hundreds of them listening. Okay.
Oh, great, good.
Because we want to change the world for some men tonight.
That's right. That's right.
I know, Harold, you've been anxious. I'm going to let you go ahead and start.
Yeah. So, Freddie, for those that may have missed the last time you and Dr. Elsbeth was on here, can you explain to us what is Tantra and how can it help with feeling fulfilled in life, love, and relationship? Because a lot of people, we just think it's about sex, but it's a little deeper than that, right?
Absolutely. You know, the thing about it, Harold, is that with the sexual piece, when we're in it, we're totally wrapped in it. You know, whether you're doing consciousness work or not, we're more open, loving, vulnerable, receptive, chemical change, more oxytocin, endorphin, serotonin, the feel-good hormones. So that's already an altered state. So in the tantric practices, particularly the way we teach it, we teach specific distinctions that you can use as a sexual meditation with yourself and with a partner that allow you to get more deeply connected to something that you want to create in your life. Perhaps more fulfillment in life, a relationship or a better relationship or work that's fulfilling or a place that's inspiring, whatever it might be. And we can start to get in touch energetically with the things that keep us from allowing in what we most deeply desire. And that's really the core of what Tantra is. Tantra, from the past, was one of the original yogas of the energetic body, as opposed to Hatha yoga of the physical form. So, and it's all energy. So our emotions have an energy body. You can think about something tomorrow, get anxious, or something from the past and get sad. We can start to become what we call this witness of the story that we're living in, that creates the cascading, what we call total felt sense of the story. We begin to be with a lot of the stuff that keeps us stuck.
Right.
And so Tantra becomes bigger than just the bedroom. It becomes a way of life and a way of being more effective in your life.
Right.
We keep unpacking this. I know that's a lot said. We'll keep talking about it.
But you know, you mentioned sexual meditation. What does that look like? What is sexual meditation?
Great. So sexual meditation are the elements of things that we do in regular meditation with working with our sexual energy. So that's what's unique about Tantra. So typically in meditation, you might do stillness meditation where your eyes could be open or closed or soft focus, and you're just breathing and you're watching the thoughts and the stories, you know, because the mind doesn't stop. So we can learn to watch the story without, again, what I say, the total felt sense of the story. You know, you can see the traffic without feeling upset about the traffic, or, you know, be with the rainy day without thinking or feeling that it's a bad day. So what Tantric or sexual meditation looks like specifically, Harold, is that you are working with your sexual energy in addition to those distinctions of breath and watching the thoughts. Because again, like I said earlier, the sexual energy alters our state anyway. So we're even in a further altered state with the endorphins, the serotonin, the oxytocin, right? The emotional, more open, loving, vulnerable states that we're in the sexual aliveness. With distinctions of watching all of that, not just being enraptured in it or lusting in it. And that's sexual meditation. And that's what you learn in the practices, because it's remembering what we've forgotten. Because when you know, typically when we get into the sex stuff, mutual or with ourselves, it's all about the orgasm, that last moment of the most, you know, highest level of pleasure. So in Tantra, a man learns how to extend that pleasure with muscle control and breath awareness. You can make an orgasm last for 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's so that's the thing that's attractive for a lot of guys. They say, well, I want to learn what, you know, they read an article 30 years ago, Sting makes love to his wife for 8 hours, right?
Right.
But once you get into, and you will learn that, it will inform your lovemaking. But once you get into it, you realize that it's bigger than the bedroom. This is a way of listening and being in your life. When you start seeing yourself and each other, like I mentioned earlier, the beating that the guy was trying to put down on the comedian, he got put down by somebody else in the back of the stage. But where does it stop? And what's the difference? So the difference is when you can start to see yourself in another, you are going to beat them up unless you're crazy and want to hurt yourself.
That's true. That's true.
Amen. I believe.
That's so true.
Yes.
So true. Parnell, go ahead.
Oh, Well, it's but that whole for 45 minutes, I'm a 45-minute orgasm. After about 20, I'm like, oh my God, make it stop. It's too much.
Right. You were there, right?
Now, the thing I was saying, Parnell, is that when you bring the consciousness to the sexual, okay, the sexual energy, when we're in it, we're creative, loving, it creates life, right? It's altered state. When you bring consciousness to the sexual, what starts to appear are creativity and pleasure in areas of life that seem completely unrelated to sex, outside of the bedroom.
Right.
Now the listening becomes different. Like I was talking about, instead of beating somebody up, you might want to understand and help them. You want to stop them from beating other people up, but you wouldn't then do what they were doing. So you start listening differently. Your conversations are different and brighter. You listen to what your dreams are and how they relate to what you're doing. And how are you doing what you want to do to create what you want to create, and having, so what I'm saying is everything is bigger than just the bedroom. So that's what's wonderful about that.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, Freddie, because I remember seeing a passage in your book talking about sexual energy. And I also remember reading and Think and Grow Rich, where that was mentioned. And I always wonder, I'm like, what does it have to do with success, sexual energy? Napoleon Hill talked about it. And I think you mentioned it in your book.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Napoleon Hill wrote a book, Think and Grow Rich, and it was about becoming rich and how to, change your thinking to be rich. And there's a small segment in one of his chapters where he says, lucky is the person, he says, man, it was a little patriarchal, but it was written a long time ago. I changed that. Lucky is the person who can transmute their sexual energy. And what that is being able to take the sexual energy and transmute it by you. So energy is one, right? You can light it when it manifests. You can light a car, drive a car with it, or light a light bulb, or power an engine with it. But when it manifests as sexual energy, it is unique. It creates life and it's pleasurable, right? So it's using that energy, transmuting it from the sexual lusting to creating it as energy towards the work that you're doing. Being totally involved and enrolled and completely dedicated to and completely, submitted to whatever it is you're creating in your life. That's what he was talking about. He didn't talk about how to do it. And what we do Tantra Novas teach you how to do that.
Right.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Oh, go ahead, Bernard. I had a question I was going to ask, but go ahead. You had the floor. Go ahead. You wanted
okay. One of the things that when I heard people talk about Tantra is like men complaining about that they're supposed to hold back their orgasms. Like, wait, she gets hers and I got to hold mine back. But I know there's been a lot of talk about becoming, being a multi-orgasmic male and how to accomplish that. And I was reading up stuff about, the $1 million point. And could you elaborate on that?
Right. So for the man, having multiple orgasms is possible. So the difference between orgasm and ejaculation. So the orgasm is the feeling that we have when we have that wonderful euphoric feeling for about 3 seconds. The ejaculation is when we spill the semen. And once we spill the semen, we have refractory. I brought a prop here if it's okay.
That's okay. That's fine. Go ahead.
This is the penis, obviously, but in Sanskrit, it's called a lingam, which means wand of light. Oh, much more endearing than dickhead, right?
Wand of life.
Yes. Wand of light. Look out. There you go. And so once we have the ejaculation, we have the refractory where we lose the erection. So when you learn the practices of Tantra, where you learn the PC muscle squeeze, you learn energy awareness, like what levels you are, say 10 being the ejaculatory moment, like 9.5, 9 3/4, and you're squeezing, then you're breathing the energy up. Now you're in that orgasmic wave without the ejaculation, without the refractory. So that's how you go on and have multiple orgasms and so on. Now it's a required practice. Once you start doing some of the gymnastics of the pieces of it, you start to get the benefits of that, because that altered state, that euphoric altered state, which has driven humanity, in terms of the procreating of the species. I mean, what was the consciousness that created the orgasm to keep us, that's amazing, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
You can harness that. And that's why we call it sexual enlightenment, sexual intelligence, because there's an intelligence encapsulated in that. So when we can start to use our intelligence, to use that intelligence, which we're a part of, we can start to broaden how we're living, how we're experiencing, how we're being in this world. So one of the things I say is, like, what if, nuns and priests who were perhaps vowed to celibacy learn these practices as a self-love practice? It's the being what this energy is, as it represents being with people, being with their parishioners. So that's what I mean is bigger than the bedroom. But we always come to it like from the lusting side, and that's okay.
Right.
Because once you get into it, you realize, oh, this is bigger than this.
Right.
Wow. And it really informs your lovemaking. I mean, all of it's good.
Right.
All good.
Well, yeah, as you're saying, so all of it has its place in the makeup of everything.
Yeah.
But I think what, if I may preface this, is that men have a problem understanding the whole picture and running after the lust. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely.
As a whole. So what can we say to our fellow brothers, no matter who they are, to pull back from the lust and understand the purpose of the environment that you're in that will put you in the position of a better lust when it's time to get there?
Great question. Great question. And that's really the essence of the new man. The new man is a Tantra man. He's integrated the masculine and feminine dynamic as it exists in all of us, right?
Okay.
So we're zygotes in the womb, we're ingesting, we're androgynous. And then it's decided we're man or woman, either more testosterone or more estrogen. And as we get older, the whole thing reverses itself. Men grow breasts, women grow hair on their faces. But what we're talking about is how can we, as whatever gender we are, be grounded. In this case, grounded as a masculine man in whatever your preference is, man, woman, whatever. But being able to integrate how that listening shows up in a social, in an emotional, in a psychological essence. Am I out of balance masculine? Am I out of balance feminine? Am I whining and complaining? Am I overly aggressive? How can I listen and be in, balance? And that's where the listening becomes an opportunity for men. So your question was, how can men be better men with this work?
Right, exactly.
And what opens up for men is a broader possibility of emotional expression, because we have two expressions that are okay for men. That's fucking and fighting.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
And so, but yet we
two F's.
Yeah, two F's, the double F. So, but we can be nurturing, we can be, really responsive, we can be, really kind, we can cry, we can have all these emotions.
Right.
So that starts to broaden for men in terms of this work. And what opens up is, again, a broader perspective on life itself.
Right. Well, I mean, and then that's really good to hear. And I think that in today's society, unfortunately, that the majority of men have been robbed of that privilege, because of what family, society, different ones have said to them, how you're supposed to be as a male, and have robbed them from the essence of being able to move into a Tantra Nova experience, because it becomes to a place where you're scared of that. You're scared of the tears. You're scared of the emotion, and I just want to get by, or as you, pardon the pun, as you say, I just want to fuck. And not realize that the passion that you could be experiencing in that moment when you're there, and it's an unfortunate situation that we have in society, and go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's been there forever, JB. This is a new evolving. I think the young kids who are coming up now are going to live in a better, more open, dynamic world. I mean, gay is not a bad word now. There's a lot of things happening that are great because people are expressing themselves and experiencing themselves. So, but for men, it's really the opportunity to broaden what's possible in terms of being in relationship. And, this whole aspect of just feeling our lust is great because that's what we start feeling as men. So we work with a lot of couples and, they're in the prime of their sexual aliveness. And she's like, I don't know if he loves me. And he's like, of course I love you, baby, pointing to his heart on,
Right.
Like, yeah, but can you kiss me with your heart? And again, that's something that guys learn. Again, there's the FFs, that's the two emotions. So when a man learns to transmute that sexual energy and bring consciousness, bringing that energy up to his heart, bringing some consciousness to it, then he can meet her at her heart. And when her heart is open, then her sexual piece is open because now she trusts that you're not just coming from a selfish love piece.
Right.
And it's not a bad thing for guys. It's just where it's okay for us to feel. It's where it's been socially okay for us to feel that we have hard-ons and we have sex. Like forever, harems, you're a playboy, that's great. You're a man when you have first sex, you talk about it in the locker room.
Right.
For women, they're whores if they have sex out of wedlock, right?
Right, exactly.
In parts of the world today be stoned to death if they had sex out of wedlock.
Right.
So
right.
women are uncovering in the tantric practice, uncovering and rediscovering their sexual aliveness.
Okay.
And men are learning to bring consciousness and focus to their sexual aliveness.
Right.
So, I guess as the layers are unfolding at this particular point in time. So, with that being said, from the male perspective, a lot of things. Okay, so can you explain the differences of why that society has pushed personal pleasure, if I will say that, for women than on the male side, or a male side of personal pleasure, that has been so downplayed and look like nasty if he's found in a position where he masturbates or whatever the case may be. Is that it? Now, is that
he finds his G spot?
Well, yeah, that's one point. Hang on, hold on. The avenue in that, and then how that reflects into relationships. So personal male pleasure, since we're on the male subject right now, how does that factor? Is that damaging to a relationship? Is that supportive in a relationship? From that point.
Yeah, good question. And I want to start with the G spot. So in terms of the physics of the physical body,
right?
The woman's Grafenberg spot or the G spot is just behind the clitoris, right inside of the cavity of the vagina.
Right.
For the man, the G spot is in his anus, but it's about at the same spot. So in ingestion, the G spot is the man's prostate. In ingestion, the woman's ovaries are the man's testes. In ingestion, the woman's clitoris is the man's penis. So that's how the whole system is, very, very related in the physicality of it. And so for men, it's been forever this oppression for the woman of her sexual aliveness, and men have just totally been dominating the whole situation. So as things have changed socially, now it's like a bad thing if a man is having sex or doing something sexual. So we don't know what to do. So men are kind of frustrated, and it can look like you're a bad guy if you even ask a woman to have sex, or So for guys, it's bringing consciousness to this unconscious aspect of ourselves. Not that the sex stuff is bad. None of it's bad.
Right.
It's just, how can we be honest about it? Like in relationships, you start out in a relationship and you just want to make love with each other. After about 15 or 20 years, you might want to experiment. So why can't you just be honest about that? The woman be honest. Hey, I love you and I love what we got, and I want to try having sex with some other people.
Right.
And vice versa for the guy, or if you're in a male-male or female-female relationship, but to be open about whatever it is that is there for you. And the thing of it is the emotional piece to that stuff is so bright, because we get jealous. We feel, like we're being left behind, and all that's related to when we're children. That goes way back. But to be able to handle that stuff requires some tools.
Right.
And this is where the tantric practices again come in, where we can develop this witness aspect of ourselves, where we can watch the emotional and the total felt sense, the somatic stuff that goes on with all these emotions, to be able to move smoothly with grace, ease, and flow towards those things that seem uncomfortable. And eventually they start to become easier, and they start to manifest. And we don't live our life like we're never going to die. And, we die like we've never lived. We live our life while we're here.
Right.
Wow.
But do you think, Dr.
I'm sorry, I'm making sure we got 1 minute.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, but yes, I just want to ask, do you think that sexual oppression is, I see that in other cultures and communities where sexuality is very open, it's very free, but within the culture of African Americans, do you think because of our situation with religion and oppression, that kind of plays a part in our sexual oppression in a way?
And before you respond to that, we're gonna go to the break, Freddie. We'll leave that in the air.
Hold that thought.
We'll come back to that question right after that. All right, but we'll be right back. Enjoying it. All right, and we're back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. It is an awesome show.
Yes, it is.
Man, I hope I hope y'all get
Yes.
something tonight, man. Hey, to change your life in terms of your sexual behaviors. All right,
That's right.
go ahead.
Did you
Freddie.
say you hope they're getting some? Did you say
Yeah,
that?
yeah, you've got that too. I hope this helped them to get some. Right?
Love is the way. Love is the way.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But go ahead, Freddie.
Oh yeah. So the question was, state this question again, Dylan.
Yes, sir. I have seen this with many other communities where, and I think with religious communities, with the Orthodox faith, with the Amish, I think sexual oppression is relevant. But within our community, because of our past history with slavery and segregation, Jim Crow, and all that stuff that goes along with that, did that kind of harp down on our sexual freedom of exploring because of the fragile masculinity of the PTSD of slavery and of other things that came along with that? Did that kind of mess with our sexual freedom in a way within our community, do you think?
Maybe on the outside, but I think we are some of the most sexual people in the world. We saved America with our sexuality, you know.
Woo, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I think that we've been trying to fit in, you know, by not being more sexual, by trying to be, you know, good Christians, you know, trying to be white Christians. And, you know, we have brought the color and some real expression in this country. But there's a whole deep sexual history in terms of how, you know, the slave owners would, you know, just basically, you know, have certain studs have sex with as many women as possible to create as many, quote, pickaninnies as they could so that they can expand their wealth, you know. So that's a whole nother story, you know, and we all heard the Mandingo stories and all of those things. So sexuality is replete through our whole history in this country. I mean, in all kinds of good and bad ways. So I think that we could be the leaders in this, in terms of how we can use our sexuality and use this kind of consciousness to be even stronger and better Americans and people in the world, and really bring out the humanity that we all share.
Exactly. That energy is so important. Parnell,
Hey, Freddie, we have a question.
That answered your question, Dylan.
Yeah,
but
it did. Thank you.
that sparked some thoughts in me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Freddie, we have a question from one of our viewers. His name is Ted. He's 62 and he's married and is experiencing erectile dysfunction. He wants to know if Tantra can be beneficial for him and his wife.
Well, it's possible. You know, I don't know what's going on with him, if he's seen a urologist or if it's physiological or more psychological, but certainly I'm not against, say, Viagra. They say that Viagra can actually improve. You're not getting, you know, some of the Alzheimer's of things later. Like it helps to strip some of the plaque that gets on the brain. As well, pumps. There's physical pumps. So I would try all those things, see a urologist and get a checkup. And then just keep looking at what's going on emotionally when he approaches the sexual piece, because sometimes it's just, you know, pressure, you know, just, you know, fear or anger, even sometimes, or who knows, it could be a lot of things. But if he keeps in the possibility that he wants to have the erections and have sex, you can also have sex with a soft on as opposed to a hard on. So in that respect, Tantra can be valuable with a hard on or a soft on, because you can start to tune into subtle pleasure energy. Just even the wind on your arm, you know, or just a subtle squeeze in the PC muscle where there's a slight muscle contraction, that muscle contraction releasing it and breathing it up to your heart. So there's a lot of things that he can learn to do in the time. Yes. So to answer your question.
Right. Beautiful. Parnell?
Love that. No, I'm loving this conversation because I think it's so important for whether you're a single person or in a relationship, of learning how to connect with your partner on a different level, as opposed to let's just get naked and do it. Because I know I've talked to friends before who have complained about, oh, my wife doesn't, you know, initiate sex enough, or, you know, always have to, or she's always pushing me away. And one of the things that I, through learning about Tantra practice stuff, was like, why? So how many times do you touch your wife that's not just about having sex?
Right, exactly.
Because it gets to the point that they start thinking, oh Lord, every time you touch me, here we go.
Right.
You know, I've got things to do. I've got work to do. I've got the kids I'm doing it, all this stuff. And now here you come. And I was kind of like, I tell you what, if you start going, just kiss your wife just to kiss her, without wanting anything else, or just, hold her hand or whatever, just be affectionate. I guarantee you, your sex life is going to start picking up, because she's going to start realizing, oh, he just gave me some affection just because he wanted to, just because it was love, not because he's getting something out of it. And I think that's what I find with Tantra. I think I talked about it the last time you were on, that of learning those things where it's not just about, oh, I want to get with the hot person in the class with me or whatever, that it really starts becoming this heart connection that happens, and it just improves your individual relationship, and it changes how you look at other people when you start seeing them from here.
Right, exactly.
That's the part that I really found enjoyable.
This is so true, Parnell, because one of the things we teach couples, and they come in with, as I mentioned, I don't know if he loves me, and he's like, of course I do, with the heart on, where the man learns how to transmute that sexual energy, and then he can not just be faking to be hugging her, really be feeling the hug.
Exactly.
Be in the hug in authenticity, in an authentic way that allows her to really feel gotten. And it's not just about the lust. And then again, once she feels trusted, then maybe they have sex, maybe they don't. Sometimes that's all you need is a good hug, good connection like that. So those little Tantra quickies do open up a lot, but it does require for the man particularly to get past that driven unconsciousness around the lusting piece. That's the only way he can feel. That's the only way he can win, is to have the good sex and have the, and that's all good. These are refined things we're talking about that will expand his capacity to experience a fuller life.
Is it? Is it safe to? Sorry. Is it safe to say that, typically from a male perspective, and this is something I encourage other guys about, just kind of looking at their sexual, participation. For the male, is it true? It's like for a drug addict, for instance, the first time they try cocaine, this is a total euphoria that they go into this place and whatever. Is the male ejaculation period, is that something that most males try to get back to the first time that they've experienced it as a young person or whatever, that euphoria of that first moment, so that most men don't know how to manage it in the sense of bringing that into where they I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but becomes more of a lust thing to get to that orgasm, or that ejaculation moment, rather than experiencing the opportunities to get there.
That's
so
right.
Is that kind of why most males, operate that way?
Well, man, when I had my first orgasm, I was 13 years old, and I was in the room, and I thought, man, I never have to leave this room again.
Everybody's story,
right?
I thought nothing, right? Everybody's like, it doesn't be better than this, right?
Right.
Because we aren't taught really how to do more with that energy. Even in sexual education, these are your testes, this is your ovaries, here's a penis, here's a vagina. Good luck. That's about as much as we get.
Right.
So we don't learn how to do some of the subtleties of moving that energy, getting past the shame and the fear and the guilt and the embarrassment and all that stuff. So hopefully in this conversation, it'll open up the inquisitiveness of people to want to learn more, because just remember what we've forgotten.
That and just what you're saying, that sort of spills over to adulthood, but kind of what it refers back to my conversation, my point a little earlier, is that it's ideal for women to be able to experience their own opportunities of personal pleasure. But if a man comes forward with that opportunity in today's society, he's looked at as being nasty or pervert or whatever the case. And so why is that? Why is that shift there? There's another question I have behind that, but go ahead.
They vilified women for their sexuality, because women are the holders of that sexuality.
Okay.
Women are the holders of that wonderful surrender, because we as men, we want to dominate, and women surrender to the love. So knowing that women had that capacity, and once a woman surrenders to the love and the man gets that surrender, he gets hooked, and now she can control him.
Right.
So,
right.
So as society continued to evolve, particularly churches, and not to make everything vilified, but they made them witches, and they downplayed their capacity in society, and they put the cap on the whole sexual thing and made it bad and all of that, because the women were the ones who really control that.
Wow. So is that? I'm sorry. I'm just leading into it because it's opened up another. So, so this is leading to at the aspect. So if you get into the quote unquote world of toys and vibrations and vibrators, and
my question.
oh, then I'm sorry, toys and vibrators and all this other type of stuff that's always played or pressed. I mean, even of course you see it in TV, you see it everywhere. That is pushed for a woman to get a vibrator to make herself happy, and when she's away or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So, but nowadays it's just like this opportunity is being folded over to men having all these other devices that that are out there now. So is that fair? I mean, I'm just kind of curious on the question. I know I'm a little over the place, but how is that working into society, I guess?
Yeah, I think societally it seems to represent that men are starting to expand their sexual possibility because now men discovered the prostate. Right. And they got a lot of, I teach a men's workshop and I teach a particular self-love practice. So they go home between the first day and the second day, and it's not just masturbation, but it's doing the practices of, again, circulating the sexual energy. And I always tell them, I said, now for extra credit, go into your own anus and discover your own prostate.
Wow.
There's straight guys in there. There's some homosexual guys in there. There's in-between guys in there. And some people, it's cool. Other people are like, man, that's dirty or that's whatever. And I'm like, no. And then once they do it, they go, well, shit.
To add to that, Doctor, there was a conversation some years back with R&B singer Tank. He had raised a topic about his wife checking the prostate once every week. That means she was, providing oral, practices on the prostate. And there was a situation where people within the mainstream was asking the fact that, will women actually do that when we go down on, do oral on women? Could they, is it all right to do oral on men? Is it natural to do oral on men? And, we're talking about this situation with, learning the body and the toys and all of this stuff. But, the fact that now that there is a new generation that's coming up that is accepting the practices of, learning about, prostate, the body, and especially through the male new generation, we're also touching the prostate because there was a time where that was taboo.
Right. So, and the thing. Go ahead.
It was a great time.
Hold that point. This guy. Hold that point. Don't forget. All right, we got to get into a quick last break. We're gonna wrap it up after the break. All right, we'll be right back with this hot topic after the break. All right, and we're back, guys. Thank you again for tuning into this powerful night. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. Before and after you answer my question, there was another question from one of our audience members that we just got that asked for a man that ejaculates too fast. What can he do? But go ahead with that first.
Okay. Yeah. So I was going to say, so with the guys, when they come in, they're like, gonna get in there, gonna get in there and get the woman and fuck hard, and and then when they go into their own prostate, they go, well, maybe I'm just gonna ease in. I'm gonna just love her good.
They have a newfound respect.
Yeah. That's about as close for a man as it feels like for a woman to be entered.
Wow.
So he gets, that's really kind of a very vulnerable thing. And he gets that vulnerability that a woman submits to. And he doesn't just come in there like ramrod. He gets a whole other sense of his own self, so yeah.
Wow.
Well, pegging is now becoming very popular as well these days.
Petting has been
Right.
around forever. You know, it's that
Yes.
it's becoming more. You know, people now talk about things, which is
Mhm.
great with the internet and so on, the information dissemination highway, because now people are learning. People go, "Oh, porn's so bad," or this or that. I think it's a good thing because people, women are seeing what they can do, men are seeing what they can do, and I
Right.
think that it's going to open up just the conversation. So that now, there was a guru I used to follow, and he used to, when people would come to train, and he was part of his work was he would teach the tantric practices. So when people would come to learn from him, he would have them go in a room and just screw as long as they wanted for like 2 weeks. Then he would come in and he would say, "Now we meditate."
Wow.
You know, so like you think that the orgasm was it and more screwing was going to be it, and you're still looking for more and you still ain't happy, and now you're all worn out. Now we meditate. It's like a kid who wants to eat his dessert. So you let him eat his dessert as much as he wants. Then after he's had enough of that, then you say, "Well, I'll try some vegetables. Try that." You know, and then they're more open. So it's like kind of where we're at societally. Now people are like just hungry and gorging themselves on the pornography. And then what else can we do with this? Oh, we can meditate with it too. So we're moving in the right direction.
Right.
Good. So back to that one question. He was saying that that for men that ejaculate too fast, what can you offer or suggest to them to have that type of control?
Yeah. Well, we do have that. Men do come and they do have that problem with quick ejaculation, and it can be a lot of reasons: psychological reasons, physiological reasons. So one just needs to look at what is uncovered in their discovery. So these practices can, allow one to be in a calmer state around what is discovered.
Okay.
So that's where these practices can be valuable. I'm not saying it's a cure-all. It's a way to be with whatever is all. Without, oh God, dreading it, or oh God, no, I hope that, oh God, what am I going to do? Well, the rain is falling from the sky. I'm going to put on a raincoat, or either get out and get rain. I'm going to stay in the house. So you know what I mean? So
right.
I'm kind of oversimplifying, but I mean that's really the essence of what's possible in terms of being with the what's so of a situation.
So,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Bro.
Isn't part of that because when we're young, and in those teenage years, it's that masturbation is real quick. Got to hurry up and get it out before somebody comes and knocks on the door and stops me. And we have to learn as we get older, like take your time. That isn't the end all be all of it. Take your time getting to that point. And again, with the Tantra class, that whole thing of, okay, we're going to take it up to a 5, and then we're going to bring it back down. Now we're going to take it up to 7, and we're going to bring it back down. So you really learn to get almost there, and then reel it back in. Whereas opposed to, like we were saying, like the guys get in there, like, I'm going to do it fucking hard.
But thank God for the new baiting movement that is coming through.
Yes.
Thank God.
Go ahead, Freddie.
I was
going to say there is an additional where you're in love making in coitus, and you can do slow love. So you're in coitus and you just start to squeeze, and you start to, on your exhalation, you visualize with your tension on the sensation and intention to move it with your breath into the person's body and into their heart, connecting at the 6th chakra, breathing it in.
Wow.
And this is called a microcosmic orbit. That's kind of comes from the Mantak Chia practices. And you can start to circulate this, I call it this nectar. And, you've experienced it as just an orgasm in the body. But when you start bringing consciousness and focus and awareness to the energy, you can start to channel that energy very specifically. And it becomes very visceral. I mean, it sounds like, that sounds like woo-woo. But I say this all the time. You know what's really woo-woo? Single-cell amoebas, multi-cell organisms, and a universe that goes on for ad infinitum. And that's our lineage.
Right.
We're just beginning to uncover what we don't even know we know.
Right.
So when you start tuning into this and circulating that energy, then you can do slow love, and it's not even about, it's like you're always in that euphoric state, and you're just circulating. You look up, you go, damn, it's been 3 days. We got to go to work. We got to feed the kids.
Right. So real quick, as we wrap it up, and it's so eloquently put tonight. Tonight has just been so awesome. And guys, if you have not learned something, like, you need to go back, and we're gonna have Dr. Freddie back another time, because there's more layers to this.
And Freddie has a workshop.
Yes, he does.
And
I was going to tell him to reiterate about that. But just share with us, as you go into that, share with us about how young you are and how young your wife is, and how beautifully you guys are so connected at the young age that you are.
Yeah, right. I was just 66, March 27th, and my wife's 7 years older than me. And
Wow.
I don't know if we're walking, example of what Tantra can do.
Yes.
We do love this work. We've been doing it for 21 years all over the world.
Yes.
And the energy and seeing people really starting to see a new aspect of how they can be in their lives is the thing that's the thrill. I do sing jazz, so I'm doing all these things that are just the fun things in life. And hopefully we all keep tuning into that special thing. That's it. If I can leave people with that one thing, do something every day that you love, at least a little bit. If it's gardening, walking, talking to your dog, whatever it is, just because you love to do it. And that will keep you in a nice state.
That's good.
Wow.
That's good.
So powerful, so powerful. Hey, Freddie, I mean, it has been the utmost an exciting night, okay, for us. And again, I do hope that, hey, audience, you guys are taking this in, men particularly, put these practices into place. Get in touch with Dr. Freddie, and get in there on these workshops if you want to improve your sex life and just your life in general, and I love that because the energy around you, which makes your bedroom performance a lot better. If you got bad energy around you, you're going to have bad performance in the bedroom.
And by the way, the next men's workshop is July 9th and 10th here in Chicago, and it's also hybrid, so you could tune in on Zoom anywhere in the world.
Oh, wow.
And we have a book that is out. It's been out, Sexual Enlightenment. You can get that on Kindle or on Audible or any of the, you can buy it hard or you can get it either, you can buy it hard. I want to get in on you guys.
Love it. All right, well, guys, thank you so much, Dr. Freddie, hey, for being with us tonight. And hey, you're welcome to come back and sit at the table with us at any time.
Yes,
we really appreciate all the information that you put out, and I hope that everybody else again will take this and utilize it. As we conclude the show, we want to celebrate mothers tonight, okay? Which is Mother's Day is tomorrow. We want to celebrate all of the love to our mothers in present and those that may have transitioned. All right, we have a little salute coming at the end of the show for that. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. It has been one powerful night with that man joining the Ballhead Club.
You guys, I love your platform. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Blessings to you, brother. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth.